Today, we're going to talk about a huge shift in how we think about learning languages. It's about moving away from all those dusty grammar books and into a world where language is really about doing things, connecting with people, and, actually making meaning. Oh man, doesn't this sound familiar? You spend years in a classroom, you ace the tests, you know all of the verb conjugations, but then you're face to face with a real person and nothing. Your brain just hits a wall. So why does that happen to so many of us? And more importantly, what can we do about it? To really get what's so revolutionary about this new vision, we first have to take a good, hard look at the old one. Let's break down some of those common roadblocks that so often make learning a language feel more like a chore than the adventure it should be.
Yeah, I bet a lot of this rings a bell. We're taught that a language is just another school subject, like history or math, something static you study, not a living tool you use. We're told to keep our languages in these neat, separate mental boxes, and we're so often judged by our mistakes, not by what we actually manage to communicate. And don't even get me started on the tests. They're all about filling in blanks, not about, having a real conversation.
So where's this new way of thinking coming from? Well, it actually comes from the Council of Europe. Now, their work is all about human rights and building bridges between people. And they realize that language education is this incredibly crucial tool for creating societies where we can all genuinely understand each other. So what exactly is this new vision? Well, it's all laid out in a document called the CEFR Companion Volume. And I know that sounds super official and maybe a little dry, but don't let the name fool you. This is not a rule book, it's more like an inspiring guide to a much more effective and frankly, more human way of learning.
Okay, this right here, this is the absolute core of the whole thing. We stop treating language like it's a fossil to be analyzed under a microscope. Instead, we start seeing ourselves as social agents, which is just a fancy way of saying we're people who use language to get real things done in the world. It is a complete game changer.
Right, so if we're social agents, then how are we supposed to learn? Well, that brings us to the first huge pillar of this new vision, the action-oriented approach. And yeah, it is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You learn by doing. Think about it like this. You don't learn how to cook by just memorizing recipes from a book, right? No, you learn by actually getting in the kitchen and making a meal. This is the exact same logic. The goal isn't just to practice a grammar point for the sake of it, it's to accomplish a real-world task, like, say, planning a trip with a friend or writing a blog post about something you're passionate about. And when you put them side by side, wow, the difference is just night and day. The old way treats language like a subject, where getting every bit of grammar perfect is the ultimate prize. This new vision, it sees language as a tool, and success means you got the job done. Suddenly, the classroom isn't just a place to practice anymore. It's the main stage, a place where real action happens. Now for the second really big idea, and this one is all about how we see the languages we already know. It's a concept called plurilingualism, and it completely reframes all of your language skills into one single, super-powered toolbox. Okay, this is a really important distinction. Multilingualism just means you know a few different languages, and we usually think of them as totally separate skills in different boxes. Plurilingualism is different. It says all your language knowledge, every word, every dialect, every phrase, is part of one big interconnected system. They're not competing with each other. They're all working together. So what's in your toolbox? I bet you've got way more in there than you think. It's the language your family speaks at home. It's that French you took back in high school. It's the lyrics you memorized from a K-pop song. It's the Spanish words you can kind of understand because you know some Italian. In this new vision, every single piece is a valuable asset. Even having partial skills isn't a bad thing. It's a resource you can build on. Okay, so now that we're armed with these two powerful ideas, learning by doing and seeing all our languages as a toolbox, let's go bust some of the most common and honestly most damaging myths about learning a language. The classic. This is probably the single biggest source of anxiety for language learners, isn't it? This pressure to have a perfect accent and to never, ever make a mistake. It holds so many people back from even trying to speak. But here is the amazing, liberating truth. The CEFR Companion Volume has officially gotten rid of the native speaker as the goal. The new goal is just to be understood. Can people understand what you're trying to say? Awesome, that's a win. Your accent isn't a flaw. It's a part of your unique identity. It tells the story of who you are and the languages you carry with you. A lot of us only ever see those CEFR levels, the A1, B2, C1, when they're on a textbook or a test. So it's really easy to think that's all it is, just a system for grading people. But that's getting it completely backwards. The main point of the framework is to inspire positive change. It's a tool for teachers to design better classes by asking a simple question: what do my students actually need to do with this language? And then, how can I help them get there? This next myth, it's a really harmful one, especially for multilingual families. There's this fear that if kids speak their heritage language at home, it's somehow going to mess up their ability to learn the main language at school. But the research on this is crystal clear. The exact opposite is true. All of your language knowledge builds this rich foundation that actually makes it easier to learn new languages. Your toolbox is your greatest strength, not something that causes confusion. So let's just zoom out and sum up this whole big picture shift. We are moving from endless, repetitive practice to doing meaningful, real-life tasks. We're going from trying to keep our languages in separate boxes to using our entire toolbox. We're shifting from teacher-led drills to giving learners real choice and a say in their own learning. And maybe most importantly, we're changing the goal from just passing a test to actually building genuine bridges between people and cultures. And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. This new vision really takes language learning and elevates it way beyond just an academic skill. It asks a much deeper question. What if the real point of learning a language isn't just about collecting words and rules, but about expanding your world, your empathy, and ultimately your own sense of who you are? What if it's about who you can become?